Okay, let's dive right into this. If you've been anywhere near the digital asset space in Nigeria lately, you know July 31st, 2026 was an absolutely massive day. The government officially dropped Information Circular number 2026-21, and let me tell you, it fundamentally changes how the blockchain is taxed. In this explainer, we're going to break down the exact source material so we can understand exactly what these new rules mean for your wallet.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, the 2026 tax guidelines. Second, what are virtual assets? Third, who do the rules apply to? Fourth, the legal framework. And finally, we'll wrap up with our key takeaways.
But hey, before we start unraveling this super dense tax code, a quick welcome to all our We in Law viewers. If you're looking for efficient, laser-focused legal breakdowns without all the fluff, make sure to hit subscribe and ring that notification bell.
All right, let's kick things off with Part 1, the 2026 Tax Guidelines. Right at the top of the official Circular 2026-21, the Nigeria Revenue Service makes their target audience crystal clear. This document is explicitly issued for the guidance of taxpayers, service providers, marketplace operators, and, well, essentially anyone engaged in virtual asset activities. We're grounding our entire analysis today right in this exact source text.
Now, the NRS designed these rules with one major goal in mind: ending the regulatory gray area. You know, the Wild West days? Yeah, they're over. They want to standardize tax administration for virtual assets across Nigeria. So, this framework outlines your exact transaction tax obligations, establishes mandatory registration and reporting, details exactly how to compute your taxable income, and ultimately gives the government a really clear path for enforcement.
Moving right along to Part 2. What are virtual assets?
It's a brilliant question, right? You might be sitting there wondering, does a stablecoin count the exact same way an NFT does? Or what exactly qualifies as a virtual asset under this new Nigerian legal framework? The government really needed a way to capture everything from Bitcoin to a digital piece of art.
So, to answer that, the NRS casts a really wide net. They don't just treat the entire crypto ecosystem as one giant, mysterious monolith. Instead, they explicitly divide virtual assets into 6 distinct classes, with each one triggering its own specific tax treatment. It's actually a highly structured approach to a pretty complex technology.
And this categorization brilliantly separates your assets. For example, Category 1 covers your standard market-driven cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ether, and Solana. Category 2 isolates stablecoins, think USDT and USDC, which are specifically designed to hold a fiat peg. Then, skipping down to Category 5, we have non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, like unique digital art. Basically, the government acknowledges that a Bitcoin is fundamentally different from a digital collectible, and they tax them accordingly. But get this, here's a totally surprising exemption, straight from the source material: sovereign digital currencies. The guidelines explicitly state that the e-Naira and all foreign central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, are entirely excluded from the virtual asset tax framework. They literally get the exact same treatment as regular fiat currencies. Who would have thought?
Okay, let's jump into Part 3. Who do the rules apply to?
This is easily the most immediate question for any Nigerian crypto investor, platform operator, or, freelancer getting paid in crypto. The big question is, does this actually apply to me?
Well, the short answer? Almost everyone. The scope of application here is massive. These rules target any person who acquires, disposes of, or exchanges a virtual asset. But hey, it doesn't stop at just trading. You are on the hook if you receive income in crypto, if you operate a virtual asset service provider or a P2P marketplace, or even if you just provide supplementary services relating to digital assets. Basically, there is quite literally nowhere to hide regardless of your size. Whether you're a solo retail trader on one side, just casually swapping coins on your phone for personal gains, or you're a massive institutional operator on the other, providing professional custody services, the taxman is looking right at you. Both the individual and the institution have clear, mandatory obligations now.
Moving on to Part 4, the legal framework.
Now, blockchain technology, by its very design, inherently pushes back against centralized control, right? It's decentralized. So as focused learners of the law, we really have to ask, what specific legal statutes give the Nigerian government the actual authority to step in and tax these digital assets? Well, the entire legal framework is anchored in sweeping 2025 legislation. There are basically 3 pillars giving the NRS this power. Section 4 of the NRS Establishment Act,
the 9th Schedule to the Nigeria Tax Act, and Section 79 along with the 5th Schedule of the Nigeria Tax Administration Act. These are the powerful new laws that legitimize both the income taxes and the stamp duties applied to your crypto transactions.
And honestly, this brings us right back to the central thesis of the document. This quote straight from Section 1.0 reminds us of the core mission here. The NRS is utilizing those 2025 laws to bring absolute, standardized clarity to an asset class that is historically operated in a massive regulatory gray area. It's really all about establishing order.
Which brings us to our final section, Part 5, Key Takeaways.
Let's see how this all builds together into a cohesive understanding. First, you've got to understand the rules are here to standardize the entire Nigerian crypto ecosystem. Second, you have to identify your asset's exact category, remembering there are 6 of them and sovereign digital currencies are completely excluded. Third, recognize that almost all participants are in scope, from the smallest trader to the absolute largest exchange. And finally, you just have to respect the powerful 2025 tax laws that make enforcement of these rules a reality.
Thank you so much for joining this We in Law Explainer. I really hope this breakdown helped clarify the foundation of these brand new tax guidelines. Please make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell right now so you're ready when Part 2 of our explainer drops.
Because we've only just set the foundation today, I want to leave you with this critical, provocative question. Now that you know you are liable under the law, how exactly does the Nigeria Revenue Service calculate the tax on an asset like Bitcoin, whose price literally changes every single second? Well, we are going to tackle the complex math of valuation and taxable events in our next explainer. See you then.